Hi, my name is Mike Ward. I'm the Global Director of Content at Informa Pharma Intelligence's Insights portfolio. We're here at the Biotech Showcase in San Francisco. It's at the start of the year. It's one of those meetings where biotech companies, pharmaceutical companies get together to have discussions, explain where they're moving, sort of changes that are taking place, what their portfolios look like, and also what assets they may wish to divest or acquire, or also what they wanted to get new investors on board. I'm joined by Amit Munshi, who's the CEO of Arena Pharmaceuticals. You joined the company 6 months ago, and you've been pretty busy doing a lot of research. Could you sort of explain, what's actually happened since June?
Yeah, thank you. The company historically had been really driven by a GPCR research platform and a focus on Belviq. And in the middle, there was a robust pipeline that was sort of languished a bit. And we saw tremendous value in that pipeline. So the focus of the last 6 months has been to re-emphasize the pipeline, refocus on the pipeline. We have 3 phase 2 compounds, all with data readouts in 2017. And as part of that, we've restructured the discovery research to spin out into Beacon Discovery. The original founders of Arena are involved in that spin out as a separate entity. And then at the same time, we've restructured our agreement with Eisai around Belviq so that we can begin to focus more heavily on our pipeline assets.
So Belviq was an obesity focused product. So you developed that in partnership with Eisai, but you've now basically handed them the rights to that product.
Correct. We still capture some back-end royalties and capture some upside in the event that the product becomes successful in the long term. However, for now, we're off the hook on a substantial development cost that we were previously on the hook for, over $80 million. We also received $23 million in cost and expense offsets that allow us to continue to manufacture the product for Eisai in the near term.
So it's kind of like a virtual $100 million deal?
That's right. So it's a $100 million deal with the royalty restructuring, correct.
Okay. So that now allows you to, as you say, sort of focus on the pipeline that you have. Could you sort of give us some details of what that pipeline looks like at the moment?
Sure. So we have 3 programs in phase 2. Again, all with data readouts in 2017. The lead program is etrasimod, formerly known as APD-334. It's in a clinical program for ulcerative colitis. And that program, we're also testing in several other indications, including extraintestinal manifestations of ulcerative colitis, polyderma gangrenosum, and finally in primary biliary cirrhosis. So we've got multiple indications on that program. The second program is APD-811, now known as ralinepag, and that reads out on a PAH study, pulmonary arterial hypertension, in the middle of the year. So that's a kind of a mid-year data readout. And the final program is the world's first highly selective full agonist to CB2. It's peripherally restricted to this receptor cannabinoid 2. That reads out in Crohn's pain in the fourth quarter of 2017.
So that seems like a pretty heavy clinical commitment. So do you have the resources already in place to be able to pay for all this?
We do. So we've been managing our cash situation, and part of the impetus for doing the Eisai transaction and divesting the discovery research was to shore up our resources so we can get through multiple of these data readouts in 2017.
Right. Okay. And then when you got those data readouts, what's the next step? I mean, you had a partner for Belviq. Would you seek to do the same sort of deal?
Yeah. In general, I'm not a big proponent of just making that the de facto or baseline assumption. We'd like to see the data first. We'd like to see multiple data readouts and begin to define what the company is going to be long term. But I'd like to do that on the back of data as opposed to preemptively deciding which direction we're going to go in.
Okay. So in the past, Arena was an obesity company. Now you're saying it's a GPCR platform company, isn't it?
Well, it's really much more of a clinical development based company. We happen to have 3 molecules that are GPCR based.
Yeah.
But the focus is clinical development. The focus is getting through these clinical development milestones and hopefully eventually bring these products to the market. So I'm much more focused on the later stage development as opposed to the early research on GPCR or on Belviq.
So you're at this meeting. I mean, so Biotech Showcase is a traditional sort of partnering meeting. JP Morgan is a traditional investor meeting. Who are you actually meeting with at this conference, and what are your objectives?
This is really our first major event in terms of reaching out to investors. So the bulk of our meetings are around investors. We need to get out to existing investors, new investors, and kind of refresh the story. I have people understand that this is not Arena from 3 or 4 years ago. There's not the Belviq focus on the company, and that we have these 3 potentially first or best-in-class assets, all with data readouts in 2017. So helping people understand these milestones ahead of us and the promise of the company going forward is really our prime objective for this week.
Right. And are you looking to bring in other assets?
Our hands are full right now. So again, we've got 3 assets across 6 indications, most of them with data readouts in 2017. That's a lot for a company our size.
Okay, great. Well, Amit, thanks very much.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Tell us the story.
Thank you.